Yeah, no, I mean, we'll move into it and see who OC want to ban out first. They're going to be the first ones taken off as they are starting on defense. And again, they could just go for nothing. They're not going to do that, but we saw in Pro League last week, or I suppose this week in North American Pro League, Evil Geniuses had nothing to play for. So they just didn't ban any operators, and that's like the definition of saving strats. Clearly, OC are not going to follow suit. They're going to go for bans anyways. Probably smart. OC don't really have anybody who play Glaz like all that often. Evelate do in terms of Rich, so that's not a super surprise ban. Yeah, this game doesn't matter. Gridlock's out. Basically a nothing ban because Gridlock is already off the board. But, man, that's got to be the very first Gridlock ban we've seen in all of competitive Rainbow Six Siege. So you heard it here first, folks.
Confirmed. I knew this was going to... Again, it was... When I said it all comes down to bans, I more or less meant how the game plays out. I didn't mean that we would determine how memey this game is going to be. So Elevate ban out Tachanka, thus eliminating Tachanka's potential of getting on the operator played list for this Challenger League season. Elevate have now stripped us all of our Lord going into this final game, and I got to imagine he was going to see a lot of play, which is kind of memey. Oh, again, OC are just going default bans here.
Hey,
really no surprise. Yeah, so I am fully prepared to just kind of give up while I'm casting this because this is going to be a game of throws.
Yeah, let's talk about how the Tachanka ban really influences how Clubhouse is played, eh? I don't know if this is gonna be a big deal.
Already bringing out Finka.
Oh boy.
And for those who don't know, also just kind of going over the recent changes to Rainbow Six. Lion reworked. He still hasn't seen a ton of play. Capitao damage decreased with the Firebolt, but AoE size increased. Blitz nerfed the flash. You can't just spam it to ever-living crud. Kaid buffed, which I found very interesting because OC played Kaid a lot. So I wonder if that changes the way they buffed in that his automatic weapon, the AUG, deals more damage now. It doesn't hit the same as the MPX of Valkyrie. So I found that interesting. Nomad, no more Claymore, stun grenades, and her air jobs make a little beep beep sounds. And Evil Eyes can be opened up with Twitch drones and EMP grenades. All very important info. And certainly the Twitch change has made a very big difference, at least on these initial 2 weeks, as far as Twitch's pick rate. That has skyrocketed.
Yes, no, 100%. Nog's bringing her today, and we see teams like always bringing Twitch nowadays. And you know, it's a welcome change because she wasn't all that popular beforehand. So interesting to note. We do have an update for you guys. If you're not watching the A stream, first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, Sills Grills took down our bad 7-3. So because 92 Dream Team tied and they did get a point in their last matchup, that match was irrelevant. But even if Disrupt Gaming had beaten 92 Dream Team, our bad would still be mathematically eliminated from playoffs after that game. This game's going on though. Falls is going to open up the match with a kill and a profit. However, it's been a fury of kills back in favor of Elevate. Low Jackson and Rich will both hit a couple of heads, and Pixel will join in on the party. Art gets eliminated, and that leaves only 2 defenders left alive. The Smoke and the Jaeger. Merc on one of these operators, and he's been quite the frag-heavy machine for the organized Chaos Boys. Take down Low Jack with a good headshot. That leaves just still him, and of course Oasis on the other side of things too. This has been a very fast game. We're not even a minute into things, and Merc will get the 8th kill of the game. Oasis gets the 9th. Or excuse me, my math is off there. But regardless, Nog's in a 1-on-2, and he's now going to bring this back. His team initially in the player advantage. However, rushing in, they have fallen quite a couple of members to Merc and Oasis, 2 guys who have done a lot of work for this team so far, and they will continue to do so. OC take round number 1.
That was a 4v2 in favor of Elevate, but I think Elevate are just kind of rushing.
Yeah.
I think Elevate are just saying heck it and just throwing caution to the wind and just shooting their shots. There is not a whole lot to analyze, and I don't think there will be for the next 30 minutes. If you're being kind, 30 minutes.
Whoa. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's interesting OC are still playing strats, though. I mean, me too, honestly. I mean,
I ate some food in between, so I don't feel like a zombie right now.
yeah.
Dude, it's rough. The 9 to 5 life into casting, into also no dinner in between then. It gets
Yeah. Well, I
I
guess because you're West
literally
Coast, right?
meal prep to eat food during these casts.
Oh, I feel so bad for you. I'm gonna be on that soon too. I guess casts are ending, so never mind. But I just got my summer job lined up today, so
Congrats.
thank you. I'll be on that 9 to 5 grind too for the next 4 months. But until then, I mean, that kind of corresponds perfectly with Challenger League ending. So I don't know. Maybe my schedule's working a little bit more luckily than yours is. But either way, we're coming into round number 2. And one thing I will, give a little bit of credit to on the side of Evelate is they've been showing off these meme operators in the reveal phase, but so far they've 6-picked away from them. They are playing like actual operators who you would bring to attack on this map. Yeah, in the last round was a bit of a rush strategy, but either way, I mean, maybe they are putting in a little bit of effort at the very least, trying to put on a good show, and that's what you ultimately want to see in Mert. Oh boy, just showing off at this point. A Spawn Peak will eliminate Nog, and just make sure that he does not have fun in round number 2.
So OC still taking this decently serious. So the way they're set up is more or less how I expected them to treat this, and from Elevate's perspective, same deal. Where I expected OC to take this as seriously as possible because you need to then, again, build the chemistry with Prodigy.
Yeah, it's true.
For those who don't know, it's when you're a part of a team and then you leave that team for any period of time, even if it's 2 weeks, there's still a growing pain involved in, or not necessarily growing, but a regrowing pain involved. And it is difficult to establish that communication that you had down again. So for OC, that is certainly something they have in mind going into this. And
yeah,
where
sure.
I could see a lot of their emphasis.
And especially if you look at OC, like the past couple of weeks, they've been a little bit rough. They had like a very dominant season in Challenger League, but in the past couple of weeks, even if you look at over like US Nationals, they've been struggling a little bit. And so the fact that they have been like losing a couple of games here and there, make them a little bit hungrier to get their wins in the very last week of play, even if it's against a team like Elevate, who are really just having a good time of it. We'll see them peek the window now. Oasis evens up the scoreboard. Profit falling to the ground, and again, that's the player coming back into this roster after they've been shuffling their roster around a couple of times these last couple of weeks. So we'll see with that how it ends up playing out. There's still a 3-on-3 and a minute to go in this round. Not a rush like last time, thankfully.
Yeah, this is a hell of a position for Prod, and yeah, sure enough, he is dispatched by Lojax. He had 2 players bearing down on him, and that is not the position you want to be holding. A minute left. This only favors the offense, especially when they have a garage control, and we see Art being harassed right now by Lifeline. So the information is there to one player. They just have to track down and find Oasis and execute off this. Oasis only 1 Toxic Babe in hand. The last one goes out. 10 seconds will expire, and that is still plenty of time left for the attackers to execute off that. And granted, there's only 1 impact grenade in Art's hands, so they're going to need to play this up front and physical. So Oasis will need to come out, and sure enough, he does, but he doesn't find any kills, and it'll be all up to Oasis to clutch this post-plant scenario. 3 guns facing off a very weak smoke. Not a bad way to start it with the kill onto Rich, but with the M7 bearing down on you, that is certainly not the most ideal. Claymore will be all that's left between him and Pixel manages to finish them off. Elevate take 1 round for themselves, tied again on a meaningless game.
Smart play from Pixel there. I mean, you place down the Claymore. You know it's obvious. You know that whoever's pushing you is going to take it down. They're probably not just going to walk straight into it, but you get the information, right? You can push that. You can peek the angle, and you can have that peek as advantage. And you're able to win that gunfight nice and easy, especially when you know that the other guy on the other team is a little bit weaker. So some good plays still that you can highlight over on the side of Elevate. That does put us into a tie game, which means we go back to CCTV Cash Room instead of Organized Chaos. Profit's going to 6-pick here because he has 6-picked every single round. and he will do so again. Blitz moves over to Ash, and again, pretty much just a better operator. At this point, OC should realize that, okay, every time we see a meme operator on the other side of the board, it's probably going to be a 6-pick, something a little bit more normal. And I will say, though, I mean, this is the first time we're seeing Ash all day, and so that speaks a little bit to her drop in pick rate, because we used to see Ash all the time.
Yeah. And again, the ability for a Twitch drone to open up an Evil Eye has made a massive difference in her pick rate. And obviously no ACOG for you from Ash has basically leapfrogged Twitch into Ash's position. Because again, Ash a lot of the time was picked for the ability to destroy the Evil Eyes. Now that Twitch can do it, and she has ACOG, and she still has a really good gun, we're looking more and more like, how do I put this? More and more like Twitch will continue to see play. We have a little bit of issues with the clean feed. I believe we are good to go now with 2:40 left in the game. And a lot of spectator issues. I can guarantee you a lot of guns are out for these teams. Wow, this is clean a mess of spectator. Regardless, Evelate look to smash their way inside. They start off well with the kill onto Merc, but they still have an operator to dispatch on the walkway. And Prod, in his Harry Potter position, will be another member to assist Art. And this is, I wanted to see whether or not they still opt to go with the shotgun. Sure enough, they do. We do see Art with that shotgun. And Fultz bearing down on damage. Fultz will chuck out a C4 just simply as a distraction, but 2 guns bearing down on him. He does not have a lot of options, but he does manage to kill LoJack. So Jackal off the board, but Pixel manages to refrag. Prophet takes out Oasis on site. So it's just Art and Prod duking it out on the walkway. With a minute and 40 left, things are looking well for Evelate.
OC putting people in the basement's a little bit weird. It might just be like I guess maybe you just want to take gunfights if you're Fultz and Merc. But it is a little bit strange because you're kind of giving up strategies, right? Maybe you've done it in the past, but like I think you're probably looking, if you're over on the side of OC, your main goal here should be to save strats. I get that you got to hold on to, you got to train up with Prod, you got to get back into the groove of things with this returning member on your team, but still I think it's going to be important that they like keep everybody, or keep all their strategies as hidden as possible. So maybe that's not a strat they're ever going to pull out again, but still, if it is a strategy, it's a little questionable why they're bringing it out here, because the correct move is absolutely not to bring out your big guns, use your strategies. Maybe just put your coach inside of a box for now, lock up Brycer, and just tell him, you know what, we'll take it from here. Come back to us in playoffs, and we can talk then. With the grenade coming out,
so,
God will end the round.
Let me ask you this: if OC hadn't, again, Jesus, I need to sleep after this.
It's all good.
If OC were still trying to qualify for the playoff race, would you have seen them going to Clubhouse?
No, although it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for them. I mean, it's a good map for them. They're 2-0-1. However, just the fact they have lost on it means that's a little bit questionable because they've only got 2 losses throughout the whole season. I was predicting Bank just because like that is undefeated for OC, and I think Evelate would have been fine going there too. So yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Like, just the fact they're on Clubhouse means a lot of their strats are already gone, so maybe they're not too worried about hiding strats. But yeah, who knows? That's a good point, to be fair. They've actually never banned Clubhouse all throughout the regular season, so maybe they just wanted to keep that record going. They never banned Bank either, though.
Yeah, and I mean, they are certainly one heck of a team when it comes to Bank, but as far as Clubhouse, I feel not unexplored territory for them, but not a map you really... Not a map that's synonymous with organized chaos.
No. No, I wouldn't say that either.
I feel like with their first place secured, with first place secured, with playoffs in hands, I feel like, and also the addition of Prodigy over Gurmy, I feel like there are a lot of factors and there's a lot of trial happening right now as far as overall idea and execution is concerned.
So, Art's on the Capcan. Let me tell you why this is not a throw and this is actually a good pick. Because they're defending down inside a church, and I've seen Capcans, for real, when you're playing up top like they are, put a lot of these Capcan traps around the top floor, and when they enter, even if they're like able to spot those out and like shoot them, you're still able to kind of jump on them, right? And there's a lot of doorways where it actually works, especially when the defender or the attackers need to get into the basements. The routes they take often go through these little doorways. Just as I say that, Rich walks straight into a Capcan trap. And when OC played in the very first Siege Rivals tournament, actually, they did play with 2 subs, and I think it was one of their subs who ran it. But this was a strategy they brought out, Capcan defending on Church Arsenal. And so this is like, it might seem like a meme, oh, this game doesn't matter pick, but I could see them pulling this out in a real game.
Yeah, and it certainly helps that now you have 2 sub 50 health operators going, you're up against now, rather. And that I can certainly see being a factor as the other Capcan traps have not been claimed. Interestingly enough, Soft
kitchen hatch.
Right so soft kitchen hatch, you have. I'm so confused on so many levels. You have LoJax. You have a jack.
You have a shotgun. Yeah.
And they choose to go with the Texan Dynamite instead. Definitely interesting. And I believe that was an impact grenade being thrown. So this is not meme strategies to meme play out. LoJax just cements himself inside of blue, and that has changed this entire round, basically. Oasis manages to down the hard breacher into Rich with the Toxic Babe and finishes them off, a 2v2 scenario. But I would still say this favors Evelate, as you have LoJax with the best position you could ask for this scenario. It will be Pixel to step inside the goo mine, and it'll be Oasis and Prod watching any angles. But right now, a plant for Pixel, not too surprising, as all angles are currently covered by LoJax. LoJax picks up his 3rd, and now we're in a 1v2 post plant, and it'll be Pixel to finish off Prod. My mind is melting.
You know,
it really is. I need to do like 5-hour energies after work.
Just down a couple of coffees. That's what I do. I mean, I don't even like work full time, but that's usually what I end up doing. It's interesting.
Like full-blown stuttering.
Oh, that's okay. Nobody's watching this game anyways. It's interesting. LoJax actually has come out and been a really big player over on the side of Evelate, because obviously it wasn't enough last week for them to turn their season around and qualify. But he had really good stats last week. He's cemented himself as the highest survival rate, which is interesting to note at 0.42. That's pretty darn good. And obviously he'd only played 2 games with those stats in mind, but the fact that he was playing in coming in off of coach, a little bit interesting that he's being able to come in with such good stats. This game as well, he's been playing really, really well. I don't know what his stats are exactly, but I think he's been having a heck of a game, and he's been hitting his shots. And you know, it's great to see from a guy like him who has subbed into this roster. Here we see the stats right now. Looks like at the moment LoJax is 2nd highest on the team, right behind Pixel. So it's great to see when you bring in your coach. Sometimes you might be a little bit worried that they're going to be rusty. Well, LoJax is clearly not having that problem. Not only is he coordinated with the guys, but he's also got that gun skill that's sometimes lacking when you bring a coach back into your roster.
Yeah, I mean, that entire round was pretty much predicated on the fact that LoJax just walked into blue and dominated both players that were up against him. And it's really not that common to see double kills like that, where there is a clear opportunity for refrag, but the attacking player, defending player just simply is too quick. That really, at this level, is, I wouldn't say unseen or unheard of, but it's very uncommon at this point. And Evelate, as far as their actual motion controls, are all over the place. We've seen potential prones, we've seen they keep ADSing. This is, my mush brain is further cementing itself into dust, I would say. And LoJax going with the stock push, and this makes a little bit more sense. Also, the fact that they had struggles opening up kitchen hatch despite having a shotgun was definitely a topic of conversation.
A soft
We do
kitchen
see
hatch
a
at
heavier
that.
emphasis. Yeah, soft kitchen hatch. Exactly. Yeah. We do see a heavier emphasis on defense this time for OC. Might have been a communication error the last time. However, Electro Claws and a reinforcement to boot are responsible right now for that kitchen hatch defense. Do see a big emphasis on that blue defense, and that might be the round decider as Church looks to be the focus right now for the members of Elevate. As Oasis just okay. Oasis is just taking a stroll, and he'll pick up a double kill while he's at it. A 3v5 with a minute and a half remaining. Things are not looking good for Elevate, especially with how funneled they currently are.
Oasis working that SMG-11. I mean, he's been really, really good these past couple of weeks. You saw OC when they started to struggle. I think a part of it was, or at least the start of their struggles, sort of came when Merc was slowing down a little bit. He was never playing bad, but at the start of the season, he was like amazing. And then he sort of slowed down a bit. And Oasis, one of those players who kind of came in and filled his role, despite mostly playing the supporting operators. They go to 3K before dying this round, leaves two of his opponents still on the board, LoJax and Prophet, trying to come into Church and maybe get a plant down if at all possible. LoJax, we've been singing his praises. He's going to be in a 1-on-3 now as the new player on OC. Prod will take down Prophet. So the P's find the P's, and we're now back down to a 1-on-3. We saw an ACOG trained at someone's head. It'll be LoJax who comes out on top of the engagement though. Faults, probably the best player on OC, however that's debatable. Goes down. Art won't lose that gunfight though. He'll hit the headshot. OC take round 5.
I wouldn't even argue semantics as far as best, worst. When you're a team that really shredded through Challenger League like OC, that's a massive team effort. And
very good point.
I mean, we've seen games where Fultz pops off. We've seen games where Merc, even Oasis on the roaming smoke on border specifically, he just was shredding through all of 92. At any given map, one of these players can just have the game of his life, and that is what has made OC so deadly. And where we more or less saw that, but we all expected it to come from 92 Dream Team, where any one of their players could pop off at any moment, and the rest of their players still play well, but just kind of accelerate that player. OC took that mantle from the beginning and has just ran with it. Where they'll have 1-2 players just do work, and the rest, really good supporting cast.
Yeah, I agree 100% because OC, like, especially at the start of the season, and I think today, they've looked like a team with almost no weaknesses, right? You talk about, like, strong entry, and Merc is there hitting every single shot. You talk about, like, those farther back players who are going to win the gunfights when your entry guy fails. Like, False is there every single time, being consistent with his shots. You talk about support players, and Oasis is always there, and despite the fact that he's so smart on support, he also wins the gunfights when he needs to. You've got the team coordination, you've got the strategies with brilliant minds of Brycer and Ghosty, who have been applying their brilliant brains to help out this team in the strat department. I mean, it seems like they've kind of just got everything figured out, and they slipped a little bit when Gurmy was still on their roster. I think that probably Merc was slowing down a little bit, and they sort of changed their team dynamic up a bit. You saw Merc was getting a little bit, or Fultz was getting a little bit more aggressive, with Merc like cooling off a little bit, and I think that sort of compounded their issues. They started to slip up even before they started losing games. They were maybe having some matches that were a bit closer than they otherwise would be. But now, at least in this matchup and in their first match of the day, taking out Toon Squad, seems like they've kind of got their footing back under them. And I think the prod switch is probably a good one. Gurmy left at a time when they were probably the weakest they've looked in months. And so hopefully this roster change will be good for them. They'll start off round number 6 with the kill and a Nog.
Yeah, and this is OC. They are playing way less meet-me than I thought they perhaps would be.
Faults is on Kabira, though.
Well, that is definitely something. But Bolts roaming, not really too uncommon. Just the operator might be a little bit silly. But regardless, the battles will continue. Prod there to assist his teammate will eventually take out LoJax, and there goes Pixel too. So Prod is on a tear of his own. He will spot Rich for a moment. Rich somehow sees absolutely none of that. Yeah. And we have an interrogation. I believe that is the very first interrogation of Challenger League. We've had we've had Cavieras before, but no interrogation. So we finally got it. We did it, chat.
Woo!
We did it.
I think he jumps out and gets the kill too.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not?
All right.
Yeah,
so
I would
maybe
agree
I
with you
take back
though.
what I said about memes.
Hey, no, I would agree though. Like the first couple of rounds, especially, OC were taking it pretty seriously, and now maybe they're getting their foot off the gas a little bit. Maybe they've realized what the stakes are. Those stakes being nothing. But either way, I mean, they win that half 4-2. They're just cruising here. Of course, Mira's still on the board because the defensive bans were Maestro and Tachanka. So this is going to be an option, and Nog can jump on that. I would like to say that Prod, maybe this isn't the best test for his coordination with the team, for him like synergizing with their strategies, because it's a bit of a silly game, but he's been hitting his shots, and from a player who hasn't been on a team for 6 weeks, that might be a concern you have. I'm sure he was playing the game. And he was a great player when he qualified with these guys. So, like, it's not a huge issue. You're not really concerned about him not hitting his shots, but it's good to see him come out here and landing the shots that he needs to be in order to help his team go up 4-2 in this matchup. You know there's not going to be a concern going into playoffs.
No, and again, I couldn't agree more. That is such a sigh of relief if you're OC. I mean, they dominated Toon Squad. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not a dump. They beat Toon Squad.
Yeah.
And that is a really, really good start, especially with a team 2 Toon Squad's caliber. And to come here and have Prod be your top scorer at the moment, not top frag, but you know, your lead in the leaderboard still counts. You get the MVP. It's really, you've got to feel good about it because, as I mentioned, any team, there's growing pains into getting used to someone coming back, someone new. I mean, we talked about it with 92 Dream Team, how the multiple roster moves throughout the season may not have been the strongest for them as a team. It is very difficult to keep adjusting to a player's style. But the advantage for OC here is that they played with Prod before, they know Prodigy, they're used to it, and it seems they're picking up on that very same foot.
Yeah, seems like he's integrating the roster really fine. Again, it's a bit of a, it's not the greatest test for him, but that first match certainly was, and I think the fact that they won it says a lot about how they're still performing as a team. And you know, Toon Squad's no slouch. They were right there, and they still they're not quite tied with 92 for that 4th spot yet or anymore, but they were there, both with 18 points. Now with 1 point, 92 are ahead of them at 19 points. But either way, they're still fighting for that playoff spot. That match is being somewhat determined on the other side, on the other stream, the A stream right now, as they are trying to stay alive. Toon Squad are and keep themselves with an opportunity to win that 4th and final spot for playoffs. 92, the other team who still might be able to get it. 4 minute half into this round, and all players are still alive. It's actually been a pretty standard attack from OC. With them moving over to the attacking side in round number 7, they can kind of control the pace a little bit more. At that point, Art not necessarily able to control it how he would like, and Merc neither. Also, with his head blowing off, he will not be able to live for any more amount of time in this round. So, wow, great shot from Fultz, actually. I think Nog was staring right at him, but just decided not to pull the trigger. A little bit unfortunate there. Maybe he's just feeling a bit charitable. Brother. Yeah, they're pacifists over on the side of Evelate. They just want to be friends.
Well, you still have Rich to displace inside of lobby, so that, or I'm sorry, lounge. So that still could serve to be a problem. And sure enough, Oasis is currently under fire. Completely ignores that, though, is still felled. LoJax will pick up the kill on the refrag, and it'll be a 3v2 advantage for the defenders. Time ticking down. These are not exactly the 2 operators you want in the clutch scenario. 35 seconds left. You have Fultz looking to make his way into CCTV as we see Prodigy on that roam. And again, a big game for him. Because this whole match day it means a lot to a player coming back, because even if you have secured your spot, you don't feel that comfortable as a player. And here we go. We do see Fultz begin to make his way, but Prophet is in perfect position. I said Prodigy, not Prophet, but Prophet is in perfect position to take advantage of this.
Ooh.
And perfect timing on Prophet's end. Will fell Fultz, and it'll be all up to Prodigy, who has a 1v1 chance. He'll be forced to do the plan.
Yeah,
but
no.
Again, 7 seconds, saving that KDA. Evelate will take the rounds. And yeah, like I said, for Prodigy, this still, I mean, he's even saving KDA. You can see it. He wants this. Like, this means a lot to any player. Whether you're new to a team or coming back, it's still this really just an ode to OC, because despite them securing the spot, they're still taking this game pretty seriously. And you can tell they still always want to win. It's never satisfied. And it's that type of hunger and it's that type of drive that is required to succeed, to even get into Challenger League, but to succeed within it. And it's really, this game is just a small microcosm of just their entire season, where they will just keep battling no matter the circumstances, no matter what. You will always have a complete round from OC.
Yeah, and I mean, a couple of their rounds, their operators have been a little bit questionable, but on the whole, I think OC are still taking this seriously, as you said. And so, especially guys like Fraud, who are trying to get back into things, or trying to like prove that you are a good player. He has been really trying to win this in particular. Oasis as well has been really trying to win this game, not because it matters for your standings, or not because it matters for the season, but just to prove, like, to the people watching, and also maybe to your teammates, like, hey, you know, I am a useful member of this team, and we're gonna do well. And just building trust with your teammates, making sure that you're still like on the same page, you can work together, and that you're building confidence for playoffs too, right? Because that's really what OC care about right now. You secured your first seed. You're going to be playing either Disrupt or 92 or Toon Squad in the first round. And so, like, you want to be able to have a clear head going into that. You want to be confident going into that, because that's going to be a tough game. And for the past couple of weeks, you've been slipping up a little bit, and maybe that confidence isn't quite there anymore. You're making a roster swap. That can hurt you mentally. That can really maybe bring more doubt to your team. But no, it's good that they're coming out here. They're trying. They're getting the job done. And I think this is going to be, despite how meaningless it might be as a game, it's going to be a big boon to their mental state if they can win it.
Right. And we do. Again, is that a soft?
I believe that was soft.
That was a soft. That was a soft hatch that
he tried to impact.
Opened up with an impact grenade. And we saw it earlier, and I was wondering what was going on, but so many members of Evelate were rotating back to site. I think they just like messed up their prep phase, I guess.
I don't know.
Rich, I can guarantee you, did not mean to open up the hatch. And I believe
he not
had
see it was soft?
It was. I'm not losing my mind here, right? Because I've been losing my mind all night. But yeah, so it was a soft hatch that he had Electro Claw on, and that he opened up himself. That was overall just so bizarre. Regardless, though, again, we talk about over and over again, OC are taking this as seriously as they possibly can, despite the clutch factor. We do see Oasis putting down that bomb, and sure enough, the plant does get off, and we're in a 5v2 scenario in favor of OC.
Yep, it's just going to be Nog and Lojax. And we talked about before, Lojax is still trying pretty hard too. He'll take down Prod. That's sort of a new player taking out a new player, one on each side. Oasis gets one though, and there's a Pokeball kill. Lojax chooses you, Oasis. You will die for this one, and we'll have just Lojax, the lone Rook, left alive to try to get this disable. Not very likely, but we'll still see what he can manage to pull off. Ooh, a nice kill from Mer onto Merc, but Fultz will come back with the trade. OC take round number 8, nice and simple, and they're going to put themselves into a pretty sizable round advantage. It was a little bit worrying because this was kind of going back and forth the first 4 rounds, so maybe you're thinking like, oh, this might be like a tie game or something. But 5-3, you're back to a 2-round lead. OC are looking pretty decent.
Yep, and 5v3 advantage with interesting operators banned. Evelate taking kind of the back role as far as taking this game seriously now, and we're beginning to see continued separation. And honestly, for OC, we talked about it, they secured it. They don't really need to care so much, but 32 points in Challenger League if they manage to win this game. I can safely say no one saw that coming. Not necessarily the fact that they make playoffs, but I don't recall a single person besides the members of OC that said, we are going to get 30+ points in Challenger League this season. That is so unheard of.
No, that's such a dominant record. They almost went lossless. They did lose 2 games, I believe, in week number 6. But OC surprised a ton of people, right? Because you're coming into this season, and what are the teams that people are favoring? I'm ignoring chat. What are the teams that people are favoring, right? They're favoring the Sonics. They're favoring formerly Vicious Gaming, right? They're favoring the teams that have just dominated or look like on paper they should dominate. Even Disrupt, even Elevate, right? Teams that just like look so good, and nobody's really talking about Organized Chaos. And I think the signs were there. I'm not gonna pretend like I was talking about them, because I really wasn't. I was sleeping on these guys just as hard as everybody else. But I think the signs were there from OC, despite the fact that like they never took down, let's say, 92 Dream Team in the qualifiers. They came very close. There were a lot of overtime wins from Vicious Gaming / 92 Dream Team over Organized Chaos. And even you look at other competitions such as CCS qualifiers, and OC looking really strong in that. I think the signs were there, and you know, congrats to any team, or any player rather, who might have called that out a little bit earlier on and said, you know what, OC looked really good, because I think I could have called that. I think the signs were there, but ultimately I think most of us missed those signs, and because of that, people were kind of sleeping on these guys. The round has gotten underway. The first hard destructor's been taken off the board. It's Oasis. Tunnels are full of fire. And really at this point in time, they're just trying to make their way in through Dirt Tunnel. It'll be LoJack stopping the aggression from Merc though, and just getting pretty aggro in the Dirt Tunnel. Not a position you see taken by the defense very often. Pays off.
Yeah, and 3v5 already for OC, and this is Elevate looking very strong going into this. I love... we didn't get time to mention this before, but Double Heart Breacher is being brought by OC, whereas Elevate didn't bring that, I don't believe, a single round on attack. And Double Heart Breacher makes this a heck of a lot easier for attackers. So a little bit surprising, but as far as this round is concerned, quite the uphill battle right now if you're OC. Doable, but not exactly what you're looking for. Obviously, LoJax's position is known. Unfortunate for Fultz as he is unable to connect with the head of LoJax as LoJax escapes the sliver of his life. Again, 3 members, all sub 50 health right now for Elevate. That is the only thing keeping this within reason right now for OC. But if you're OC, anytime you're down any sort of members, regardless of what team you are, you need to make plays happen. And right now, they're trying to find any picks they possibly can.
Talk about players who can make plays happen though. Fultz, Prod, Art even. I mean, these are guys who can totally do it. They've got a lot of time still to work with, at least 45 seconds when you've got 3 alive. Ooh, that's unfortunate. There's a 3rd player who died in Dirt Tunnel, isn't it? Maybe you should be drawing that out a little bit better, figuring out that, hey guys, there's somebody playing aggressively in Dirt Tunnel. 3 men now have died in that tunnel, and they'll be the last 2 to hopefully not suffer the same fate. Fultz and Arch, the 2 remaining members that would be. And one of them, Fultz, he's still fighting in Dirt Tunnel. I don't know what this will flash himself, but get the down
fights,
in the process.
blind yourself, just go. Don't ever stop.
Hey, he's done it. He won. He's got 2 more guys to fight though, and they've got shotguns. That was
all right.
Good try.
Was
no,
it?
got a frag.
I think that's putting it kindly, to say the least.
He got it.
Regardless, we go to round 10, Elevate OC. Thank God for shotguns. Yep, that's certainly the determining factor inside of Dirt. CCTV again right now for Elevate, and we saw the Miro before. The Miro was playing Rafters before, which I found interesting. And we have LoJax on Rook, so no Doc being brought by LoJax, which typically plays Rafters. I have a lot of questions as to the overall idea for Elevate, but hey, it worked out last time.
There are not answers.
With the round win.
There aren't questions, answers, but the answers don't exist. It's just
okay.
You ask Elevate, oh, why are you doing this? There's no real answer. I mean, just give LoJax whatever he wants, because he's 15, 2, and 7 right now. He's the only reason this team has 4 rounds. Maybe not the only, but probably the biggest. 15 is nothing to laugh at. Especially after only 9 rounds. Shout out to Nog
for picking up his first kill. He can finally raise his hand.
Shout out to shotguns.
yeah, shout out to shotguns. His only kill. Close range shotgun. But regardless, Elevate set up, and this is very similar defense to what they did prior. However, this time without the Haid to back them up. So whoever will be playing inside a lounge will not have the shotgun advantage. Interesting little setup there with the deployable shields. It would appear someone is just going to be playing white heavily.
Somebody forgot to get their jacket. I believe it was Pixel. So that was going to make him a little bit weaker. And okay, they've got a couple of people playing the bottom of Garage, including the Mira of Nog. So that's an interesting place to be playing. They do still open up the Garage, and Rick's very aggressive on this Garage door. He won't get rewarded with a kill, though. And after being spotted out, he's going to back off. They've droned that, though, so all the information in the world for the attackers and defenders. No secrets here. Still trying to play around this doorway. Merc is on the other side of things. And this is a very frustrating place to play at because the defenders have way more cover than you. You can only really look at them through one little angle. And yeah, you got your drones, but like he could move all the time, so you kind of don't know where they're at. There's also two of them up there. And Merc maybe just thinking, nah, I'm going to leave. Play the angle, let Art do it instead.
This is like season 1 Siege. People are just peeking and it's just gunfights. That's all there is. A team with Thatcher, double Heart Breachers, and a Capitao, and it's somehow devolving into just gunfights is blowing my mind right now.
That's the way she goes sometimes. 5-4 still. We've got minute 30 left in this round, and everybody's alive. I like the grenade use from Merc there, clearing off the mana batters in the wall. You still got the Thatcher as well, so just like a ton of effort being used to open up that wall. A lot of time too, so it's been a bit sloppy, not gonna lie, on the side of Organized Chaos. This chaotic play from Elevate, it's been a little bit successful, and Nog picks up his second one. Didn't even need the shotgun. He'll land the headshot on default, so that's not really an easy kill to land. I think you should be pretty happy about that. Rich gets another one into Oasis, and Nog with 3 kills! Oh, he's out here, and he's having a good time of it. Merc will be the next one to fall to him, and that leaves just 2. Probably gonna pick one up, however, Rich with the frag. Leave just one player left alive. Ooh, Nog couldn't hit that one, unfortunately. The frag is very possible, because Prod only has 3 members to find. 45 seconds, though, not a lot to do it with.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Okay, well, he gets kicked from the roster. Confirmed. Grimmy back. If you can't clutch for OC, just what are you doing? I mean, we saw Rexon clutch. We've seen actually quite a few clutches today. But, yeah, I mean, do you even deserve a roster spot if you can't manage to clutch a 1v5?
That's a fair question, I think. Yeah. Probably Faults is a pretty bad
player. Let it sit for a while.
Yeah.
Regardless, Gym Bedroom next for Elevate as they have brought this 5-5. So I was saying before,
going the distance.
Yeah, I was saying before, if OC managed to make this, managed to even tie this game, they'll have 30 points. Right now, I don't know. My confidence is dwindling that they can now win this game, or at least tie it to get that coveted 30 points for Challenger League qualifiers for Challenger League. Elevate are, I don't want to say memeing, but it's not. It hasn't been super serious all the way through.
I'll say the elevator memeing. I'll say that.
Have taken this game pretty seriously, and to be 5-5 on Clubhouse is not great. It's not the worst. There's really not a lot to look into for this. I'm kind of just speaking, but it's still, you know, come on, get 30 points.
Get 30 that's a good point. No, I think that's a great point because you can even look back to previous historical matches, right? You think Evil Geniuses versus Fnatic back, what was that, last season, Season 8 finals, where they lost in the quarterfinals to a team who, playing with the sub, they were just memeing, they were running around, and so they beat the best team in North America. And so, you know, sometimes a team just playing wild, playing crazy, having a good time of it can, like, provide crazy upsets just because you're not used to playing against it, right? If you're Organized Chaos, I mean, I'm not going to pretend like you probably prepped too hard for this game. Although, you probably did a fair bit.
No, they definitely did.
Yeah, you're right. They probably did put a lot of effort into getting this game because coming into today, they didn't know if this game would matter or not because they did obviously want that first seed. That basically just avoids playing Sonics in the first round, which is what OC would be looking for. And so, like, securing the first seed is pretty important for you. And so, you wouldn't know. Like, if you'd lost to Toon Squad, this match would matter in terms of getting the first seed. So yeah, you're right. They probably did prep for this, and the fact that Elevator kind of, they banned Gridlock and Tachanka, you know, that might throw off their prep a little bit, maybe make all of it sort of worthless, and who knows, Bryce is probably pulling his hair out, but either way, I mean, yeah, they probably should be doing a little bit better than this, but the fact that they're not, I don't think it's
not worth it.
Yeah,
OC are definitely taking this a little bit slower. I imagine just a little bit of a, you know, let's go team, clap clap kind of thing. You know, we're better than this. We have performed better, but LoJax will dispatch Art all the way from Dirt, and that is pretty common. I can't say that is the most uncommon angle ever, because it really, really isn't. And what you were saying before, a team that can be loose, fun, actually have a higher chance to win, and we saw it during SI actually with Nora Rangu, where teams that were strict and yelling at each other, cough cough, did not have the kind of success that Nora Rangu had, where they were all fun and loose, and despite being down at any point, their spirits were up and their play was elevated from that, which goes to show how much of any sport, whether it's esport or physical, relies on that mental half of the game, and how important that is for any kind of team.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, mental game is huge in any situation, right? So 30 seconds of the round here, and it looks like this might not be a win for OC. They're gonna jump on into a frost mat.
Two frost mats.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Oh, no, just one. I thought it was two.
Either way, they're out, and Elevate cannot lose this game. So, I mean, they've lost 6 matches this season. No, they lost their last one, didn't they? So they've lost 7 matches this season. They will not lose 8. They can put that stat in the bank. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, well, you know.
And OC will not win 10 because they've won 9 right now.
3, 4. I guess it would be, they're 3, 3, and 7 right now. So at worst, they'll be 3, 4, and 7.
Yep.
Little victories, we call them.
Hey, why not? You know,
little victories. Oh boy. Well, the last round possible right now, and really, I gotta be honest, that with how little this game is as far as implications is concerned, this has not been our best effort.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say. Right now, Sonics are duking it out with Toon Squad, and we're still waiting the results of that. Again, Toon Squad need to win. And if Toon Squad do not win, then the playoff race is set, and the next game does not mean a whole lot besides seeding for 92 Dream Team. And the best seeding 92 Dream Team can have is they beat is 3rd place, because Sonics and OC are set in place at 1 and 2, and Disrupt at the 3rd spot right now.
So the best position, the best seeding that 92 can get is playing versus the Sonics. That's that's kind of rough.
It's really it's
very
true, interesting.
Yeah.
So Sonics, you could argue, at least as of late, have performed better than Organized Chaos. So you have, I wouldn't say a decision to make, but a talking point where, do we want to play Sonics or do we want to play OC? And I'm not saying our bad are going to roll over and it's going to be that simple, but the way 92 have been performing, I would say they are the better team, and that is certainly a talking point you could have as a unit.
Sure. Yeah. No, 100%. And it's going to be interesting to note because it's also going to matter for Disrupt's last game. That'll be the last match of the night on the A stream. And so in terms of seeding, how that goes, and we shouldn't count Toon Squad out because that game is still going on, to the best of our knowledge. So you shouldn't count Toon Squad out, but ultimately Disrupt are also going to have an input in that, right? I mean, at the moment they are a higher seed, or they are higher in the standings, and so they currently sit in 3rd. But, you know, depending on how their match goes, they might drop down to 4th, and they might play OC in the first round of playoffs rather than the Sonics. So yeah, that honestly might affect your play a little bit, and you could talk about that, but ultimately it's not going to be an easy match for anybody, right? You talk about OC, you talk about Sonics, you talk about 92, Toons, Disrupt, anybody's going to have a tough game the first round of the playoffs. Challenger League Season 9, things are so competitive. You might just kind of want to take your wins and roll with the punches. Whatever you get dealt, that's what you play with.
I mean, the fact that playoff seeding could go down to literally the very last game is something I love. That is just an ode to how good this season has been. And right now, is this real? Pixel and Pulse are holding angles on each other while missing each other by a hair. And I mean a literal hair. That was definitely a standoff, certainly. All right, looking to set his team up.
No! That's tragic. That's so tragic.
Hilarious. That bar, so for those who don't know, there's a little bar just above that wall that makes grenading over it so difficult. And by the way, OC won, or OC are tied. That means OC have 30 points on Challenger League season. The only team to do it, and the only team that I believe can do it. No, wait. Hold on. Yes, the only team that can possibly do it. Sonics at most can only get 30 points. So OC have fully blown secured the 30-point first place. Congratulations to them. One heck of a season. Elevate, but that was it's going to be an interesting playoffs because
for sure
a lot of these teams are coming on.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, this has been such a crazy season. That game in particular was a bunch of fun, but like overall, it's been so competitive, right? Like you look at the past 7 weeks, we have seen upsets over upsets. We have seen teams rise. We have seen teams fall. We have seen just so much crazy stuff, honest to God. And it's been such an entertaining season. Hopes have been dashed. Hopes are still alive for a few teams here as well. So there's plenty more to watch. And I know a lot of people, like if you were only following Pro League for the past like 7 weeks, maybe now you're just tuning into Challenger League and you're thinking, okay, well, who are the challengers going to be, right, for the next season of Pro League? Because ultimately that's the end goal, right? For any team in Challenger League, you're trying to make it to that very prestigious spot in Rainbow Six. You're trying to make it to Pro League, the best of the best players playing Pro League, and so you want to prove you're one of them. You want to prove that you can do it.
Absolutely. And speaking of games you just want to watch, Sonics vs Toon Squads is happening over at Rainbow Six _UK. As far as this channel is concerned, we are going to take a quick break and we'll be back with 92 Dream Team versus Our Bad. 92 Dream Team versus Our Bad. Oh, wait, never mind. 92 Dream Team versus Our Bad hinges on the success of Toon Squad versus... Ignore what I said about the break. Interviews, that's a thing. Brain mush, yeah. We're going to be interviewing with OC, and I imagine Pulse, who is normally the one who comes in interviews for them. Regardless, 92 Dream Team versus Our Bad is going to be interesting only if Toon Squad managed to beat Sonics.
Yes.
And again, as far as the playoff race is concerned, OC, 30 points, have already secured their first place bid, but now have fully blown number one. No one can even get 30 points. Sonics in second place, and Disrupt is currently in third, but they have secured their spot. Right now, 92 and Toon Squad are battling for this fourth and coveted spot for our Challenger League playoffs. Disrupt, 92 and Toon Squad, any combo of these teams can be 3 or 4. So playoff seeding is still something that is yet to be determined. And at the moment, that is definitely something you need to consider as a team. Do you want to play OC or do you want to play Sonics?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. And again, Disrupt and 92 both played last for the final game. So it's going to be really, it's an interesting conversation piece.
Certainly. And even if you look, I mean, if you're not watching the A stream right now, you should be. But I'll give a score update right now just in case. Sonics are up on Toon Squad 5-3. And if Toon Squad tie, they're out. They need the win, not the tie. So that one's an intense matchup. I mean, don't leave our interview because I'm actually really excited to hear from OC. But maybe just have that on the background while you're listening to this interview that's going to be coming up pretty soon. So, yeah.
And as far as that last game is concerned, that was Prodigy performed very, very well. That's a full-blown fact.
Oh, yes.
Prodigy, for his first week back with the team, did very well in at least getting his groove back, because that's an emphasis you need to do as a team. I mean, you lose that player throughout quote-unquote lose that player throughout the CL season, and now you have him back for the last week. And we are going to switch to that interview. As I mentioned, it'll be Fultz on OC, the first and only team with 30 points. Fultz, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good, thank you.
Feels good. You're the only team that could ever get 30 points, and I got to admit, you have shocked pretty much every single person with this CL run you guys have had together. And to be first and the only team that could possibly get first, that is a tremendous accomplishment. So we, as spectators, want to congratulate you, because it's been one heck of a run, but I can imagine for you guys, it is only just beginning.
Yeah, thank you for the congratulations, but I think we coming into the season, a lot of people didn't really think of us as a reliable team, like in a true competitor for the top 4 playoff spot, but I think we've proven ourselves, and yeah, I'm excited for playoffs.
So pretty much the only thing that we haven't covered at this point is now the addition of Prodigy. Prodigy, this entire match week, has performed very, very well. He's pretty much picked off right where he was. Can you describe what this week has been like for you as a team, getting him back in the mix of things, making sure it's been a flawless transition from Gurmy?
Yeah, I mean, Pride's always been on the OC roster for as long as I can remember, so it wasn't like a huge change and like a big new addition. So it was definitely a little something you had to take care of, but Pride performed well.
Oh, as far as questions go, I'm gonna ask the big one. Who do you want? Disrupt, 92 Dream Team, Toon Squad? Do you even care?
You're asking me who I want to make it?
Oh no, yeah. Well, I want to hear who you want to make it. Who you want to play against.
I'm gonna keep that to myself.
That's very fair. I did not blame you whatsoever. Throughout the season, you guys haven't really struggled, but the games you have tied and lost, could you take us through what those weeks afterwards were like? Did you grind harder? Was the grind always the same? Did it change based on whether you did have that rare tie or loss?
Yeah, I think some of the losses and ties were a good reality check for us and let us know that we're not unstoppable and stuff. So I definitely influenced the grind, and yeah, it was definitely an eye opener.
Well, like I said, we've covered so much already. You guys have found so much success. Again, congratulations. First place going into Challenger League playoffs. This is Fultz from Organized Chaos. Thanks again, man. Congratulations. We'll see you next week for playoffs.
Later.
All right, everybody. And with that, we are going to take a quick break. Again, we want to remind people that Toon Squad vs. Sonics is happening over at Rainbow6_UK. And again, Toon Squad need to win. And the last time we got a checkup from Corn Pop, it was 5-3 in favor of Sonics. So if Toon Squad don't win, then you're looking at 92 Dream Team as the 4th and final team. But from our end, we're going to take a quick break. So go check out that channel, and we'll be right back with you.